I grew up thinking my parents were the most grounded people I knew. My name's Kai, a 23-year-old Asian American, second generation, living in a quiet suburb just outside Seattle. My dad, Chen, immigrated from China in the 90s, a wiry man who'd survived the Cultural Revolution's chaos in the 1970s, scavenging rice from fields while Red Guards marched. My mom, Lynn, followed a few years later, her soft hands shaped by years of factory work before they built a life here. They raised me on a diet of hard work, family duty, and a sharp skepticism of authority, especially American propaganda. "Question everything," Chen would say, tapping his temple as we watched TV, mocking commercials with a grin. But last night, over a plate of steaming mapo tofu, that foundation cracked. It started innocently enough. I was home for the weekend, a rare break from nursing school applications piling up on my laptop. The dining table, its wobbly legs, a testament to Dad's refusal to fix it, was set with Mom's signature dish, spicy mapo tofu, the Sichuan peppercorns tingling the air, mixed with the earthy scent of soy sauce and ground pork. I'd miss this, the comfort of home, even if it came with Chen's endless lectures. He turned on the TV, but instead of the usual news, it was his phone, propped against the salt shaker, blasting TikTok. The screen flickered with a guy in a cowboy hat, his drawl thick as he ranted about the moon landing being a hoax. "NASA staged it all," the man said. "Deep State's got the proof." Chen leaned forward, chopsticks paused midair, his eyes bright. "Kai, you see this? All lies. The moon landing, fake." I laughed, thinking it was a joke, a piece of tofu halfway to my mouth. "Dad, come on. Even China confirmed Apollo. You're not serious." He waved me off, scrolling to another clip, a woman with wild hair claiming the moon was a hologram projected by satellites. "TikTok knows the truth," he said, voice gruff but excited. "You kids trust Google too much." My laugh died. This wasn't the dad who'd drilled critical thinking into me, the one who'd mocked my high school friends for believing Wikipedia over textbooks. The room tensed. "What?" I said, setting my bowl down. "You, of all people, believe this? You used to call American TV brainwash." Chen's face hardened, lines deepening around his mouth. "I lived through Mao's lies. I know propaganda. This is different. Real people speaking out." Mom nodded, sipping her tea, her silence a quiet vote of confidence. I stared, the tofu's spice turning bitter. "Dad, even the USSR verified it. China's space agency agrees. How can you think it's fake?" He leaned back, crossing his arms. "They're all in on it. 5-dimensional chess, Kai. You're too young to get it." I pulled up my phone, fingers fumbling as I found a NASA article. "Look, India's Chandrayaan-2 photographed the Apollo site. Proof." Chen squinted, then smirked. "Photoshop, they're covering tracks." I groaned, frustration bubbling. "You criticize me for trusting the internet, but you're glued to TikTok like it's scripture." He slammed his chopsticks down, the clatter echoing. "Respect your elders. You don't know what I've seen. Hunger, fear, lies from the party." Mom's voice cut in, soft but firm. "Kai, your father's right to question. America's not perfect." I wanted to scream. This wasn't about America. It was about reason slipping away. The argument stretched, voices rising over the TV's hum. "Even if you doubt NASA," I said, "China's not faking it for the US. They're rivals." Chen shook his head. "You don't understand power games. I've lived them." I threw my hands up. "This is the same logic as flat earthers. Where's your evidence?" He pointed at his phone. "Right here. Real voices." Mom sighed. "Kai, let it go." I couldn't. This was my dad, my anchor, echoing X-rants I'd scrolled past. Wild, unhinged. How had he, a man who'd escaped Mao's grip, landed here? Later, in my old bedroom, I sprawled on the bed, mind racing. I remembered childhood. Chen quizzing me on history, his pride when I debunked a teacher's mistake, Lynn cheering with dumplings. Those memories clashed with tonight's Chen, lost in TikTok's glow. I texted Sam, my nursing school buddy. My dad thinks the moon landing's fake. Help. Sam replied, LOL, my uncle's into QAnon now. Welcome to the crazy club. The next morning, I tried again. Over kanji, I showed Chen the Chandrayaan-2 photo again. See the tracks? Proof. He shrugged. Could be staged. I pushed. Even Beijing admits it. You think they're playing a mind game? He crossed his arms. Maybe. Trust is earned, not given. Mom nodded, and I felt a pang. Her complicity stung. I stormed out, driving to the library, needing air. There, I dove into forums, Reddit threads on RR, Asian parent stories, X-posts about immigrant isolation. I found You Fit Attention 3979's take on Asian tribalism, how conformity shaped beliefs even in Japan's anti-immigrant protests. It resonated. Dad's skepticism had twisted into loyalty to a digital tribe. Back home, I overheard Chen on a call, praising Trump's strong borders to an old friend from China. Mom joined in, her voice animated about Modi's India. I froze. Demonio Kitty's point about Asian parents embracing racist ideologies hit hard. Was Dad seeking acceptance in America's fringe? That night, I sat with Sam at a cafe, venting. Dad's a Trump fan now. Mom's into Modi. What's next? Sam sipped his latte. My uncle went from anti-vax to QAnon. It's the algorithm. Feeds what they want. I scrolled X, finding UA Sleep C3653's analysis. Anger at difference, rejection of truth. Was that Dad's escape? I researched further, discovering TikTok's role in Asian communities, how it peddled conspiracies to lonely immigrants. Chen fit the pattern, cut off from old friends, adrift in a new land. Back home, dinner was silent, the mapo tofu cold. I watched Chen scroll, his face lit by the screen. Mom hummed, lost in her world. I thought about nursing school, my way out, like Maximum Flats RN license dream. The global shortage could take me to Canada, Australia, anywhere. But as I cleared the table, I wondered, could I leave without understanding this shift? The clash wasn't just cultural, it was a battle for my family's soul, and I was just beginning to fight. The hum of my Seattle apartment felt like a sanctuary after that chaotic dinner, but my mind wouldn't rest. Kai, buried under nursing school applications, couldn't shake the image of Chen's TikTok-lit face, ranting about moon hoaxes like some American redneck caricature. I needed to understand why my father, who'd fled China's propaganda, had veered into this ideological abyss. Armed with my laptop, I dove deeper, determined to unravel the roots of this clash. I started with X, scrolling through threads on Asian immigrant experiences. A post by You Fit Attention 3979 caught my eye, describing Asia's tribal culture, where conformity trumped logic even in modern nations like Japan. He cited a recent protest in Tokyo, where a far-right party marched against Kurdish immigrants, 4,000 souls in a nation of 125 million, proof of clannish fear over reason. It hit home. Dad's skepticism, honed in the Cultural Revolution, had morphed into loyalty to a digital tribe on TikTok. I dug further, finding Reddit posts on our Asian parent stories about parents falling for conspiracies, their isolation amplifying echo chambers. Mom, Lynn Fit 2, her YouTube Sangi videos, as You Asleep C3653 noted, filled the void left by lost friends. A week later, I returned home, the air thick with ginger chicken, Mom's peace offering. But peace was fleeting. Over dinner, Chen scrolled TikTok, pausing on a clip of Trump at a rally, fist pumping. Strong leader, he muttered. America needs that. I dropped my spoon, the clink sharp. Dad, you're joking. You called U.S. politics a circus when I was a kid. He glared, lines etching deeper. Times change. He speaks truth. borders, jobs. Mom nodded, her eyes fixed on her plate, a silent ally. My anger flared, echoing You Particular Product 92's disgust with MAGA parents. Truth? I snapped, pulling up X on my phone. He's a con man. China's state media mocks him, calls him a clown. Chen leaned forward. You don't get power, Kai. I lived under real control. Mao's purges. Trump's different. I scrolled to a post debunking Trump's border stats. This is your moon hoax logic. No evidence. He waved me off. TikTok shows real people, not your elite lies. Mom interjected. Kai, respect your father's experience. I clenched my fists. This isn't respect. It's blind faith. The argument stretched, voices clashing over the chicken's aroma. I'm applying to nursing school to get out, I said, channeling You Maximum Flat's immigration plan. The nurse shortage can take me anywhere. Canada, Australia. Chen's eyes narrowed. Running? Typical American weakness. Lynn gasped. Kai, we left China for you. I stood, voice trembling. You're sacrificing reason. I love you, but this is insane. I stormed out, the ginger chicken uneaten, my rebellion solidifying. At a park, I called Gia, my cousin in Vancouver. Uncle Chen's always been stubborn, she said, but TikTok's worse. Mom says he's lonely since we moved. I nodded, picturing Chen's empty days, retired, no old friends nearby. I visited Aunt May next, his sister. Over tea, she sighed. He's proud, Kai. Thinks Trump's strength mirrors Mao's control. Ironic, huh? She shared stories of their youth, Chen shielding her from red guards. It softened my anger, but deepened my resolve. Back home, I caught Mom alone, watching a Sanghi video on YouTube, raucous chants for Modi, temples flashing. Her eyes were distant, and I remembered You Asleep C3653's point about loneliness driving radicalization. Mom, you okay? I asked. She paused it, voice low. I miss my old life. Friends, markets. It's company. I hugged her, the screen's glow fading. Later, I overheard Chen on a call, praising Trump's America First to a friend, Mom echoing Modi's glory. You demonio kitties take stung. Were they chasing white acceptance through racism? At a cafe with Sam, I vented. Dad's Trump-obsessed. Mom's into Modi. What's next? Sam shrugged. My uncle's QAnon now. Algorithms to blame. I scrolled X, finding You Steakhouse Blues note on Cold War communists mirroring leftists, not rednecks. Maybe Dad's shift wasn't partisan, but a rejection of truth, as You Asleep C3653 suggested. Anger at a changing world. I researched TikTok's Asian immigrant surge, how it peddled conspiracies to the lonely. Chen's pattern emerged, isolated, adrift, clinging to a new tribe. That night, dinner was silent, the chicken cold. I watched Chen scroll, Mom humming softly. I thought of nursing school, my escape, like You Maximum Flat's RN dream. But leaving meant abandoning them to this. I recalled Chen teaching me chess as a kid, Lynn's dumplings at my graduations. They'd given up so much. Friends, culture, for me. Could I bridge this divide, or was I doomed to lose them to TikTok's fog? The clash grew louder, a battle for their minds, and I wasn't sure I could win. The drive back to Seattle felt like carrying a weight I couldn't shed. Kai, nursing school applications in hand, couldn't escape the echo of Chen's Trump rants and Lynn's Modi murmurs. The clash had grown from a dinner spat to a chasm, and my escape plan, nursing school, loomed as both salvation and abandonment. I couldn't leave them adrift in TikTok's grip. I needed a bridge, not a goodbye. The clock ticked toward 11 p.m. on this June 10, 2025, and I resolved to act. A few days later, a library flyer caught my eye. Bridging Cultures Through Stories at the Rec Center. It promised a NASA veteran, an Indian astronaut, and a community elder, voices to challenge Dad's conspiracies, inspired by Umeka Barbara's mom outgrowing her hoaxes. I pitched it to Chen and Lynn as a family outing. Chen grumbled, waste of time, but Lynn's nod, her love for community, won him over. We arrived Saturday afternoon, the hall buzzing with samosa and spring roll scents, a tapestry of faces, Chinese, Indian, American. The event began with Tom, the NASA veteran, his gray hair catching the light. He projected Apollo 11 site photos from India's Chandrayaan-2. "I trained those astronauts," he said, voice steady. "The moon's real. Rocks, tracks, all there." Chen shifted, phone in hand, muttering. Next, Li Wei, a Chinese astronaut, spoke via video link, confirming China's lunar data. "We've seen the evidence," she said. Chen's mutter faded. Finally, Priya, an Indian elder in a gold sari, shared her immigration tale, how community saved her from isolation. Lynn's eyes glistened, her own loneliness reflected. During the Q&A, I nudged Chen, "Ask." He stood, voice hesitant. "How do we know it's not staged?" Tom chuckled. "Son, I've held moon rocks. Soviets checked it. TikTok's fun, but it's not fact." The room laughed, and Chen sat, red-faced. Priya added, "Doubt's healthy, but community brings truth." Lynn whispered to me, "She's right." I felt a flicker of hope. Afterward, I dragged Chen to Tom. "He's got a point," Tom said, clapping Chen's shoulder. "Check primary sources." Chen nodded, stiff but thoughtful. Lynn joined Priya, chatting about Diwali, her voice lifting. Back home, progress stalled. Chen retreated to TikTok, and I worried. Then Lynn caught me packing for a nursing interview. "Kai, I miss my old life. Friends, markets," she confessed, tears falling. YouTube filled that gap. I hugged her, recalling US Sleep C 3653's note on lost networks. "Let's call them," I said. We spent hours on video calls, her college mates in Shanghai, cousins in Guangzhou, laughter filling the room. She uninstalled YouTube, smiling. "Feels lighter," she said. I grinned, hope growing. Chen was tougher. One night, I challenged him again. "Dad, Tom and Li Wei are right. China confirms the moon landing. TikTok's lying." He sighed, scrolling less. "Maybe I got carried away." I pushed. "What about Trump?" He paused. "He's loud, but I don't know anymore." I suggested chess, his old love, to replace the screen. He agreed reluctantly, and we played that night, his focus returning. "You're rusty," I teased. He chuckled, a rare sound. Weeks later, nursing school accepted me, and I chose a local program, delaying my escape. Chen joined a chess club, meeting Tom there. They debated moves, not conspiracies. Lynn hosted a Diwali potluck, her friends bringing curries, her laughter echoing. At dinner, Chen laughed about his moon phase, and Lynn teased, "No more TikTok gurus." I served mapo tofu, reflecting. The clash hadn't vanished. Chen still muttered about elites, but it softened. I'd found my path through nursing, but also a way back to them. As I watched them smile, I realized love had bridged the wildest divide, proving family could heal even the deepest rifts. Reflective monologue. Sitting by the window that night, the city lights blinking like stars, I thought about the journey. Dad's conspiracies, Mom's isolation, my rebellion, they'd tested us. But the rec center, the chessboard, the potluck, they'd rebuilt us. Nursing would take me far, yet I'd stay close, a tether. The moon, real or not, paled beside this truth. Family, flawed and fierce, was my anchor. And maybe, just maybe, I taught them to question TikTok as fiercely as they taught me to question the world.